Hi to the beautiful and handsome students of Cebu Normal University. I'm Eloisa Faye J. Abelia, and I'm a registered speech language pathologist. So, speech language pathologists, what do they do? So, speech language pathologists, also called SLPs, are experts in communication. Well, I don't consider myself as an expert, but I do know a lot about communication. SLPs treat many types of communication and swallowing problems. So these include the following. The first one is speech sounds. So speech sounds refer to how we say sounds and put the sounds together. Other words for these problems are articulation or phonological disorder. It could also be apraxia of speech or dysarthria. Next is language. Language is how well we understand what we hear or read and how we use words to tell others what we are thinking. In adults, this problem may be called aphasia. So, usually with aphasia, this is what happens to them after stroke. If you notice that they have a hard time understanding and talking as well. Next is literacy. So, literacy is how well we read and write. So, people with speech and language disorders may also have trouble reading, spelling, and writing. Next is social communication. So, social communication is how well we follow rules, like taking turns, how to talk to different people, or how close to stand to someone when he or she is talking. So, if mag-talk siya, inani ba siya kaduol nimo, or there's a proper distance. So, this is also called pragmatics. Next is voice. Voice is how our voices sound. So, we may sound hoarse, we may lose our voice easily, we may talk too loudly or through our noses, or be unable to make sounds. And did you know some SLPs who specialize in voice, they can help those transgender individuals to help with their quality of voice to make it more softer than the usual. Next is fluency. It's also called stuttering and is how well speech flows. The flow of speech. Is it smooth or not? So someone who stutters may repeat sounds like the table and use frequently or pause a lot when talking. Many young children will go through a time when they stutter, but most outgrow it. Next is cognitive communication. It is how well our minds work. Problems in cognitive communication may involve memory problems, attention problems, problem solving, organization, and other thinking skills. And last but not the least is feeding and swallowing. So it's how well we suck, we chew, and swallow food and liquid. So a swallowing disorder may lead to poor nutrition. It can also lead to weight loss and other health problems. Swallowing or feeding problems can also be called as dysphagia. So, where can I find a speech language pathologist? So, one of the nice things about being a speech language pathologist is that you can work in many contexts or in many settings, such as in private practice, like in clinics or centers, in a physician's office, in hospitals, in schools, in colleges and universities, and it can be in rehabilitation centers or in long term and residential healthcare facilities. How do SLPs and teachers collaborate? Let's find out. So, how SLPs can support teachers? How can we support you? So, we can provide information about students' speech or language impairments. So, this can include, for this example, Tony's understanding of sequential information is impacted. So, he may require additional support with multi step tasks. So, if we have this information, we can target following directions during our sessions or tap on this as one of our goals. We can also provide strategies to support student instruction. So, for example, an SLP may say, Ava is hard to understand sometimes because of her speech sound disorder. So, there are sounds that are difficult. So, for example, Ava would say yayo instead of yellow. So, if you don't understand what she is saying, encourage her to use gestures like pointing, showing, or pictures to communicate what she needs. So we would be helping you out with some compensatory strategies so that communicating with each other is more efficient. Next, provide insight into what the student is working on in therapy. So, for example, I can tell you now, I'm going to help Ali say the k sounds, but it may take him a while to get it. So, let me know if you hear him use it correctly. So, for the k sound, asa kang difficulty with Ali? Is it in the initial part, in the middle part, or in the end part, or in all the aspects like beginning of the word, middle of the word, or at the end of the word? Next is how can you teachers support us SLPs? So we have provide an overview of lesson units. So we work with students to related information to reinforce what you learned in the classroom. So to give you a picture of it, most of the time or the bulk of the day, it will be with you as teachers. And then they'll be with us for siguro maximum of an hour or two. It could be in an individual session, in dyad, or in group sessions as well. So if you see that he or she has a hard time with specific concept or a specific lesson, you can tell us, teach, can you please reinforce this during your session so that when we do the next topics, it will be easier for this specific student. Next is provide feedback about students' interests and progress. So this can also help us know what to focus on in their sessions. So we know that if you want the client or the student to be interested in what you're teaching, you have to find out what he or she is interested in. And at the same time, what is his or her learning style? Because of course, if he or she is not interested in that, there would be a lesser chance for him or her to engage with you or during the class. So if the student is really interested in puzzles during their free choice time, we can help or we can use puzzles as well to increase engagement during sessions. Next is provide information about any new concerns. So teachers may be the first to notice that a student is having more difficulty as compared to other students with aspects of communication. So by collaborating with us SLPs, you can have more efficiency in determining what the student needs with regards to speech and language support and what are the necessary steps from there. And this time, how can we support each other? So, number one, find the best way to communicate. So, if you wish, at the end of the day, we can talk about specific students, or if you wish to have phone call, or through chat, or through email, that can do. And be open to new ideas. So, teachers and SLPs may have had different experiences and have different strategies for teaching and learning. So, perhaps you can share now, teach this worked well with him, or teach dili kayo siya ka-understand if visuals lang, dapat na apoy auditory, kinesthetic na aspect as well, or even tactile. And being automatically dismissive of someone's idea or method, or because it's different from what they've experienced, can end up hindering a student's progress more than anything. So, as what they say, it takes a village to raise a child. And embrace flexibility. So, both teachers and SLPs have a lot, definitely a lot of demands at their end or at their plate. So, will you be flexible enough? If this works or this is more efficient, let's do this. Or if this is not really efficient for him or her, then perhaps we can go away from that. And for students who have learning, speech, and or language concerns, the collaboration between SLPs and teachers is essential for the creation of a quality IEP. And I will end this talk by saying that collaboration between SLPs and teachers can truly make a difference for students. Thank you very much. I hope you've learned something from me today.